Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to present best practices in international business and SME assistance by presenting on maximizing your return on investment at a trade show. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Nicole, and I'm excited to be here with you today. Interested in all things international, I currently help U.S. suppliers meet overseas buyers at Coleman Worldwide's premier industry events. My focus is on helping states and small and medium-sized enterprises, known as SMEs, connect globally at trade shows around the world. During my 5 successful years at World Trade Center, Utah, I administered grant awards for SMEs to expand internationally with a focus on trade promotion. I did this through various programs, including the Utah Export Acceleration Grant, the Rural Business Development Grant, and the State Trade Expansion Program, better known as the STEP Grant, which some of you might be familiar with. I am proud that I was able to increase grant funding from $300,000 to over $1.5 million, which was the largest increase among grantees nationwide and a record high STEP grant in Utah 2 years in a row. Additionally, I led delegations to multiple international trade shows, including JEC World, the Farnborough International Air Show, ISPO Munich, and Arab Health. These shows ranged in industries from composites to aerospace, defense, and security to outdoor to healthcare and medical devices. I currently love my role at Coleman Worldwide because I continue to lead out at trade shows in the USA Partnership Pavilions, working specifically with states and SMEs. I am surrounded by a fantastic team with 60 years experience. I am thrilled to help take trade shows to the next level with Coleman Worldwide's inaugural Made in the USA CITO SME Zone at the Paris Air Show 2023. This is the next trade show up for me, and I hope to see some of you there. On a personal note, one of my proudest moments is winning the Governor's Office Chili Cook-Off. I collect keychains and have a few thousand. I feel the happiest when I am learning about other cultures, solving tough issues, or spending time on a tropical island. Now let's get started. Before I begin, I would like to see who we have with us. How many of you out there have been to or exhibited at a trade show before? Great. Now for those that said yes, have you been to or exhibited at more than 5 trade shows? Great. Now have you been to or exhibited at more than 10 trade shows? Okay, wow, some of you have. Well, we have a great group with us today ranging in trade show experience. Because really, industry trade shows are great places to meet new customers and partners. These events create an opportunity really for face-to-face interactions and a chance to share your products and services to achieve actual and future sales. Whether you're a trade show exhibiting rookie or a seasoned veteran, it's important to make sure you're getting the most bang for your buck when participating in a trade show. Today's presentation will focus on how to plan a trade show to maximize your return on investment. Specifically, the 3 areas will be covered that will help you maximize your return on investment. The first is trade show basics, the second is best practices, and the third is return on investment. The following trade show basics will be covered as this is a good starting point to maximize your return on investment at a trade show. We'll cover timeline, budget, planning, marketing, leads, and experience. So let's first start with timeline. Here are our key timeline points for participating in a trade show. The first place to start is picking a show and the right show. You'll want a show that helps connect you with people in your industry. You'll want to pay attention to if the show is annual, biannual, or on a different schedule. If you want to exhibit, then you'll want to sign up as soon as you possibly can. This can help with early bird discounts, placement at a show, and travel arrangements. The earlier you can take care of the logistics, the better position you'll be to prepare for the show. Second, before committing to a show, make sure that you have a completed budget. You don't want to commit to a show and then learn that you've run out of money. Finally, looking at pre-planning. Ideally, you should begin the planning process 3 to 6 months before a trade show takes place. Really, pre-planning is essential no matter how many trade shows you have attended. It is especially critical for new exhibitors who might get confused in the process of implementation. Too often, exhibitors don't think about return on investment in the planning stage. This step, though, is critical to accurately assessing financial profitability from exhibiting in a trade show. It's also key to maximizing your return on investment. Again, each industry trade show is different, and thus pre-planning is important to maximize your return on investment. Next, we'll go into budget planning because this really is an integral step in the pre-show process. There are many costs involved in exhibiting at a trade show, and so you must plan accordingly. You have to consider costs for travel, booth, graphics, furniture, equipment, giveaways, among others. There are many costs to consider and they can add up quickly. Always expect to spend more than you are planning. You'll want to write down the expenses so that your company knows what costs are involved. It will be important to compare budget to actual costs. The actual costs will be used to determine the return on investment. Again, before committing to a show, make sure that you have completed a budget. I can't emphasize enough that this step needs to take place before committing and signing up for a trade show. When planning to exhibit at a trade show, you must have pre-show plans, on-site plans, and post-show plans, better known as follow-up. Make sure to outline a plan in writing for the pre-show, on-site, and post-show. Discussing is one thing, but putting things in writing makes a huge difference. The action of putting your thoughts in writing will tell your brain that you are serious about whatever this is, and it will expect you to keep taking actions toward this topic. People who don't put things in writing take much less action, and therefore they never get the force of momentum to work for them. Also, it cannot be stressed enough that planning is essential. The more prepared you are in advance, the better the chances of a successful show and a better chance to maximize your return on investment. With each new show, remember what worked before and what did not so you can plan accordingly. Next up, we'll want to look at marketing. Really, determining the best marketing plan takes both time and energy. Creating a marketing plan will help you see how exhibiting or attending a trade show fits into your overall efforts to increase sales and maximizing your return on investment. Among other things, a comprehensive marketing plan should include a review of all marketing tactics used by your company in the past year and those you plan to use in the coming year. You'll want to start marketing as soon as possible. You'll utilize social media platforms and begin engaging your audience before the event doors even open. You'll want to make sure to include all event details on your website so customers will easily find your booth. This should include the booth location, who will be at the show, how to reach those at the show, and the days/times you're able to take meetings. It's also a good idea to include show location or booth location in your email signature. Really, the more that you can spread the word that you'll be at the show, the better. One key to a successful marketing plan is making sure that you work with your company's marketing team to create and execute the marketing for the trade show. Siloed efforts rarely work as well as full engagement. Leads. Okay, let's jump into the steps that you must take to generate solid leads. This is essential to maximizing your return on investment at a trade show. You'll want to do this by first identifying who's going to the event. You'll start by locating a list of attendees or sponsors. You'll determine who do you already know, what contacts do you know, companies. You'll look for company names and target contact names or roles. And with this data in hand, this is what your marketing team can use to identify prospects to focus on during the show, and then they can begin their pre-marketing to these individuals. Second, you want to prioritize pre-show outreach. The main reason you do this is so that you have a starting point. You'll want to look for patterns among your best customers. Industry. Which industry or industries does your company usually sell to? Company size / revenue. What's the company size of your best customers? Is it large, mid-market, startups, small business? Geographic location. Target companies or prospects within 50 miles of your event. You'll want to look at that. Third, you'll want to launch a multi-touch campaign. The goal is that by the time the event rolls around, your prospects know who you are and have you on their schedule at the show. I mean, to be effective, you'll need both your sales and marketing teams to put in the effort. You can do this with social ads, emails, or phone calls. Fourth, you'll want to motivate attendees to visit your booth or book a meeting. This is true whether you're walking a show or have a booth at the show. You'll want to set a concrete goal of booth visits and meeting set. I mean, you'll also want to make sure that you've staffed correctly so that you have staff handling booth visits and others leading meetings. Having one person trying to do both can be both overwhelming and counterproductive. Because remember, every conversation you have should lead you closer to booth visits and meeting set, thus leading to more sales and the opportunity to maximize your return on investment. Fifth, you'll want to enrich your post-show leads. Business cards and badge scans really don't tell the whole story. For example, details on business cards are usually reliable, though it's not a lot of information. Also, if a person doesn't have a business card, don't worry about it. I would take a screenshot for their LinkedIn profile to remember the new contact. Also, it's important that when you get a person's business card, make sure to put notes on it for a more personalized follow-up. The key really is to generate good event leads that are clean and enrich the data after the show. This type of data points include the following: industry, company size, department budget, and any planned projects. The purpose is to ensure that your prospect is a good fit and you're not wasting your time. You can also try to match prospects to existing accounts within your CRM. No one wants to waste valuable time following up on leads that stand no chance of becoming customers. The goal is to determine if leads can be qualified for follow-up. Finally, launch a follow-up campaign. Post-trade operations are just as important as preparation and attendance. No matter how perfect a prospect account is, it's possible that the person that you connected at the event may not be the decision maker for your product or service. But if you engage with the decision maker at the show, even better. But first, you want to take a breath and give your prospects some space. This is good because then you'll take the time to organize your new prospects in either a spreadsheet or your CRM. You'll want to include all the detailed information you gathered while at the show. Then really, it's time to reach out. Remind them of either the meeting you attended, the dinner you had, a conversation, and then you'll call or email this list. You'll want to either, another way to do it is if you want to include a unique subject line in an email, and make sure to really follow up with phone calls. Really, trade shows can be a great way to generate a lot of leads in a short period. But if you're at the show and you're looking around the conference room or at the show wondering where to start, you're already too late. To turn those great conversations into revenue, you need to lay the groundwork beforehand. Keep your eye on the goal and watch how you're able to maximize your return on investment. As a previous step director and now exhibit organizer team member, I have firsthand experience with trade shows, including the assistance I provided, the challenges I encountered, and the benefits gained. If it's your first time exhibiting, nerves are probably running high. I know mine was. Many first-time exhibitors make multiple mistakes that prevent them from being able to enjoy the experience. Even seasoned trade show veterans can make them. One of the number one mistakes new exhibitors make is going too big the first time. For your first trade show, it may be best to stay on the smaller side and see which aspects work before making a big investment. Keep everything scaled down on the first event and learn from mistakes that are made. If you're a small business, see if your state or territory offers STEP grants for financial support, or if there's a state delegation exhibiting at a trade show. Additionally, some choose to walk the show to scope out the lay of the land before committing to exhibiting at a trade show. Also, don't make the mistake of socializing too much. Some people view trade shows as one big party, and they make many mistakes that end up hurting the company. You should always really be friendly to your fellow exhibitors, but it's also important to remember that they may be competitors. So be careful what is shared with everyone, because it could come back to bite you. Another common mistake is that exhibitors attend the wrong trade shows. It's really tough for individuals to make the right choice, but research will help. Also, the more you learn about trade shows in your industry, the better the decision process will go. As you gain experience and knowledge, your choices will be more pragmatic. Next, we're going to turn and focus on best practices on how to maximize your return on investment at a trade show. We'll do this by going over preparation, online tools, on-site and knowing your surroundings and opportunities, the importance of one-to-one meetings, networking, briefings, and site visits, targeting prospective companies, and post-show follow-up. Really, you want to make sure you prepare before being on site. Taking the following steps will ensure you're properly prepared for the trade show. You'll want to write down your plan of action and business goals. Really, writing down the goals for the trade show helps to keep everyone on the same page so the right results are achieved and you can refer to it during the planning process. You'll want to make sure that you carefully read the trade show handbook or online portal to ensure, or both, really to ensure that you understand the rules, regulations, and any deadlines that must be met. This will ensure that you and your team are filling out the right paperwork or submitting materials in a timely manner. Also, as an organizer, don't be afraid to reach out to the show's organizers. These are professionals that you'll want to rely on before, during, and after the trade show. The organizers will provide booth services and help to ensure that your booth is prepared for attendees. You'll want to consider audience. Who is your audience? Who is your company targeting? What are their interests? Being able to answer these questions will prepare you for designing your booth and on-site plans. Really looking at your team. You want to build and train your booth team because this is an indispensable step in planning for a trade show. You'll really need varied talent that will work together to meet company goals. Building the team, assigning their roles, and training them should be a big priority. Travel. Planning is crucial for being able to survive the city during a trade show event. This is because hotels will book up well in advance, and finding a good restaurant often means wasted time searching. If you plan well in advance, the event will be fun and you'll experience much less stress. In doing this, you'll want to do the following. You'll want to get to know the city and all that it has to offer. Learn about the culture, the hotels, the attractions. If it's a city you've never visited before, maybe take a virtual online tour. Immerse yourself in learning as much as possible before making any plans. Book your accommodations well in advance. Trade show attendees and exhibitors plan months ahead and often book their hotel as soon as they learn the event dates. No one wants to be an exhibitor without accommodations. Those who don't book early often find themselves scrambling last minute to find accommodations that could be less desirable. Also, print up a map or mark on your phone the trade show venue and where the hotel is booked and any restaurants and points of interest. You'll want to have this information easily accessible. Transportation. It's always wise to plan your transportation well in advance. This includes airplane tickets. Are you going to rent a car over there? Are you going to take public transportation? Very important, transportation. How are you going to get around the city during the show and for all activities? Really, attention to detail will make survival in the city much easier. And then one last tip really is that many exhibitors that they forget is you want to have a healthy breakfast and healthy snacks throughout the day so you can keep up your energy. And this is really important to make sure that you're strong throughout. Some online tools that you can use to maximize your return on investment at a trade show is what is called Source Here. And really, it's a global platform for various industries. It's a directory where buyers can go online and search for companies' products or services with a simple key search. Equally important is that it will list the trade shows your company will be participating in. So Source Here is a marketplace with tens of thousands of products and services from companies located in different regions around the world. For example, there are currently 800 aerospace, defense, and security companies on Source Here. There has been a heavy investment in getting the right visitors on the platform, and these have been attracted through numerous mediums online and at industry trade shows. One great feature of Source Here is the online platform messaging. Visitors really expect a seamless messaging experience, and this is provided on the online platform messaging. This allows people to connect in seconds. Global visitors can message your company representative directly to Source Here. They can do this before you even hit the ground for the trade show. Connecting buyers and sellers quickly is a vital part of modern day business and is one of the cornerstones of what Source Here offers. So again, source here is a digital directory at trade shows. Visitors use it to navigate the trade show, bookmark companies, people, and products that they are interested in. Again, they can also message company representatives directly on the platform. And as you can see, it's a digital directory for many of these events included. So like IDEX, MSPO, LAD. And so it's just a great online tool at trade shows. Okay, now you're ready to optimize your booth on site. So we're changing direction a little bit. So today's exhibitor really understands that they need an effective display, not only to look good, but to be able to engage visitors so that they stay long enough to really clinch the deal. A lot of modern day show booths are custom made booths, which is great. Because they really help maximize your return on investment. So when designing a booth, you'll want to make sure that you don't have any cluttered graphics because that can create a very chaotic look. And the whole goal is to gain attention by telling who your company is and what they provide. This should be accomplished in under 10 seconds, so you'll really want to think simple displays at first. Many people will make the mistake of giving out gifts simply because other booths do it. You don't want to just give out a pen because everybody else is, because you're wasting a golden opportunity. If you decide to do a giveaway, think about your branding and what customers will be intrigued by before purchasing. Really, water bottles, coffee mugs, and pens are really overdone. I would think outside the box. Really investing in an engaging display will boost your chances of snagging the right type of attendees. Both the design of your booth and the information and your giveaways should drive home your company's value proposition and competitive advantage. Ask questions of the visitors to determine whether they are good sales leads, then record their contact details. Again, make sure to train your booth staff before the show. Many owners wing it when it comes to training their staff because they mistakenly think they already have the training they need. Performance in the business and on the trade floor is entirely different and should be approached as such. New exhibitors will often make the mistake of not prepping their trade show booth at the start of each day. You'll want to make sure to wipe away any smudges, pick up any food wrappers, so you'll have a good presentation. You'll want to think of each day as a completely new event and prepare the booth accordingly. Remember, you are being exposed to new groups coming through every day, and the booth needs to look as fresh and clean as day one. You'll want to invest in the right strategy during the show by knowing your surroundings and opportunities. You can spend all you want on the perfect booth, but if you are ill-equipped to handle the actual crowd on the day of the shows, you will not generate a lot of leads. Make sure that you have the right strategy in place to maximize in-show returns. You'll want to make sure that you're friendly and approachable. You'll want to put on your game face. One way to do this is to make sure that your staff is well equipped and has the right information to tell the visitors about your brand. They'll want to make a good impression, be friendly without being overbearing, and they'll want to be able to encapsulate the essence of your brand in a short sales pitch. Put your staff through a full-fledged training session if you need to, giving them suitable one-liners that will help to seal the deal. Another thing is to get off the phone. A lot of booths tend to suffer from a lack of visitors if the staff doesn't seem interested in the event. Don't have staff huddling around each other, chatting, or busy on their phones. while the show is going on. Visitors are the main way your booth is going to give you any return on investment, so you'll want to treat them like royalty. Next, you'll want to be the expert. Setting yourself up for success can also mean being the subject matter expert at the event. You can familiarize yourself with every concept of the industry ahead of the show so that on the day you have all the answers. Market yourself as the one booth that has all the answers to questions that people are asking. Since you have a captive audience, you can use this platform as a way to build their trust in you and your brand. Finally, you'll want to be well rested. Sometimes this is overlooked. In the stress of making sure that everything is right, you're going to be overworked and tired, but you'll need plenty of rest before each day of the show. You can also make a schedule so that you aren't drowsy during the event, and make sure to go on regular floor walks to see what is happening. I know I said that was final, but one thing that has become more popular lately is if you use a famous speaker or well-known person to drive people to your booth. If it's in your trade show budget, great. And you can also use this in social media campaigns to draw people to your booth. In the past, I've seen governors who will come and speak, or there's receptions to follow. So that's just some items to remember while on site. Remember the importance of one-to-one meetings. It's a good idea to really remember why there is great value in investing in trade shows in the first place. Despite the increase in the use of social media and online advertising, meeting people face to face continues to be the most effective way to increase long-term usage of a product. This is the main reason why trade shows continue to exist throughout the world, and that it's a competitive advantage. Trade shows act as a good platform for exhibitors to connect with other professionals with shared interests. It really enables to build new partnerships as well as meet your target audience. These partnerships can prove quite profitable in future while letting exhibitors increase your brand awareness. Really, trade shows are much more about, them putting up a kiosk and have people inquire about your product or service. They are a place where thousands of people come to find one thing, and that is products or services such as yours. The investment in attending one should therefore be a sizable one and made well worth the cost to maximize your return on investment. You'll want to remember that while at a trade show, you'll want to do things really outside of the trade show as well. So you'll want to participate in networking events with guests from local industry multipliers. This can include both organized networking events as well as your own events. You'll want to invite visitors to events outside of the trade show. During the show, you might want to invite prospective clients to an inclusive cocktail dinner or an outdoor event nearby where you can further discuss a possible sales alliance. This will give you time to spend exclusively with them without all the distractions that are usually present in the trade show hall. And I've actually seen quite a few contracts signed outside of the trade show venue at an event like this. You'll want to go to also briefings with the business community on local business practices and opportunities. This will help you gain more insight into the community's culture, legal formalities, business practices, and much more. Finally, you'll want to seek out site visitors to local facilities where your products or services may be applied. And as you can see, there are two pictures. The first is from Espacio Food and Service down in Chile, where a group went to a grocery store in Chile, um, so they could actually see their products in the store. And this second one is a networking event at Arab Health, where they got out of the venue and they got to see the culture and just had a great option for networking outside of a trade show. Now we're going to discuss how to target prospective companies. It can be difficult to attract people whom you've never met before to attend a conference and visit your booth. There will be several vendors at the show who will be vying, and you'll be vying for their attention of the crowd along with you. The best way to engage your high value visitors is by reaching out to them before the event even occurs. You'll want to do this on social networks. You can offer them incentives to come and visit you, like a special discount or an offer. Traditional media can also be used. Local print, TV, or radio media, that will get out the word successfully. And so you'll, again, just make sure you want to target those prospective companies before you go to the show. And really don't forget about post-show follow-up. One of the biggest mistakes businesses make when attending or exhibiting at a trade show is collecting plenty of cards and generating leads and then failing to follow up on them. Because now that you've made all those great leads throughout the event, don't let them disappear without a trace. Make sure that you enter qualified leads into a database throughout the entirety of the trade show, really. These details can then be used to decide if the lead is worthy of a follow-up after the event. You can call the leads and get them to make a final decision, whether they'd like to purchase. And you'll find that a lot of them will appreciate that you remembered them, especially those who made it to the show just to visit your booth. Make sure you're using a good strategy for follow-ups. It's really recommended to designate a team member to enter contact information into a database and then make sure that you're following up with them. Send a personalized email, schedule a call or a meeting, send additional information, but the important thing is really staying in touch. Now let's focus on calculating return on investment. At the end of the day, you're going to want to be able to measure the return on investment that you gained by participating in the trade show. It's important to measure trade show return on investment to determine your success of the trade show. You'll want to have something concrete and measurable. This is important. The basic formula to calculate return on investment is to compare the costs associated with being in a show to the actual revenue generated in sales. Measuring return on investment can sometimes be a lengthy process depending on the sales cycle of your industry and how long it takes for the buyer to commit. But don't be discouraged if your return on investment starts out low. I've seen this time and time again. Sometimes it will start out low and then a month or a couple months, a year, or even a couple years, you'll start to see the return on investment. A couple items to know when it comes to return on investment. You'll want to look at foot traffic, deals and sales, engagement, contacts and leads, and really the awareness of your product. Finally, it's important to take into consideration also return on objective. And this is calculated by taking the cost of the show divided by a non-financial goal. It's a measure of how participating in a specific show helps your company meet non-sell objectives. It's more empirical in nature and measures how well marketing objectives are working in the trade show environment and how they continue to influence, out in the marketplace. And looking at, there's no mathematical formula for return on an objective. It's really important. This is why it's important to establish goals in the beginning, and this would be where you would want to writing down those goals and really focusing on return on objective. So you'll want to look at the leads, brand awareness, media exposure, networking, publicity. So that's, something else you'll want to look at when going to a trade show. Well, finally, here is my contact information in case you have any questions about today's presentation, about trade shows in general. I am happy to talk to you about them, experiences one-on-one, whether you're a small business, medium, whether you've worked with states, worked with the STEP grant. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I just want to thank you for your time today, and hopefully by going through trade show basics, best practices, and return on investment, you've learned how to maximize your return on investment at a trade show. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day. Okay, bye.